Whether you're getting on live with me now or going to look at this post video, we're just getting ready to get right into it. We're looking at law number 15. We're looking at the law of victory. All right, law number 15. Hope you guys have been reading the book and getting through the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership with John Maxwell. John says that the unity of vision, diversity of skills, plus a leader is needed for a win. Unity of division, diversity of skills, and a leader. And a leader is always influence, right? So law 15 is the law of victory. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Leaders find a way for the team to win. If you look at anything that you want to look at, but I'm going to look at sports. I love Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, I would watch him play, and I'm more of a personality fan than I am a team fan. But I did love the Bulls from Chicago. And Michael Jordan was the kind of guy who could always find a way to win. He could find a way to win. And so that was kind of engrafted in him. And then he would take the team with him. And that's great. Whatever we are, wherever we are, whoever is around us, it's important as leaders that we are able to find a way to have the whole team win, and not just a win for yourself, but the team to win. If we look at living the law of the victory, it says that the leader's resolve is the first thing. What will change this mindset? The leader's resolve. Number 2 is unity. Unity of vision. We're going to talk about this in a second. So we have living the law of victory. Number 1 is the leader's resolve. Resolve. That's like steadfastness. Unmovable. Number 2 is unity of vision. Surround yourself with people who believe like you, believe and think different thoughts. We're going to talk about that in a second. Number 3 is diversity of skills. Diversity is the word. And number 4 is raising team members to their potential. Raising team members to their potential. All right, and then number 5 is know and utilize each team member's strengths. Know and utilize each team member's strengths. And so when we talk about living the law of victory, we're talking about you've planted your feet down. Your foot is in the ground, and you are determined to win no matter what. You will do whatever it takes. You have what number 1 says. You have resolved within yourself that losing is not an option. Winning is mandatory. And that comes when unity of vision happens, when not just that you know what's going on as the leader, but the leader says, I will make sure the team knows why we're doing this, what we're doing, how we're going to do it, so that we all enjoy the victory and we all want the victory. Surround yourself with people who believe like you. I like that. People that believe like me, but believe and think different thoughts, so that I don't just have people that are agreeing with me, but believe like me. And they may believe and think a little differently about some things, but they're still adding value to what we're doing. We're not talking about people that disagree on what we believe, but they have different thoughts. Just because a person has a difference about opinion about something, a difference in a thought, doesn't mean that they disagree. It means that their ability now to add value to what we've already put on the table, to add something to that, so that the original vision, the thought, the cause is able to be victorious, as opposed to we're squashing your idea, right? So we have diversity of skills. A leader should possess diversity of skills, that they should be able to do more than one thing and take you to more than one place, right? Raising team members to their potential. We talked about it before, but leaders know how to get a victory because they will take the whole team with them. When Jordan would play, especially in the playoffs at the end of the season, his leadership brought the whole team with him. And so Jordan, though he was Jordan, was not Jordan alone. He would use the others around him and make them great as well, whether by passing the ball to them, and at a particular time where, because he did that at that time, that great things happened. They made the goal, they made the basket, or whatever was going on when he was playing. He made sure that their potential all came up a level. He brought the whole team up. It wasn't just Jordan. Jordan got the credit, but they also got credit too. So you know and utilize each team member's strengths, knowing what each one is best at and being able to utilize that to the advantage in order to win the victory. I was just talking to someone yesterday that you can't win alone. You win as a team. You can't do anything successful and do it alone. You can't finish this course, this mastermind, and think, I'm just going to go out there and do it. No, what you want to think about is, okay, let me develop an inner circle. Let me develop an outer circle. Let me develop a core of people that I can say, these guys are part of my team, and I can pour into them. They're pouring into me. We're adding value to each other, although you're the lead person. And let's do whatever it is that God has put in your heart to do. Let's keep on going. Page 2. Leading others to the law of victory. Leadership is responsible. Leadership is responsible. Leading others to the law of victory. Leadership is responsible. Losing is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I refuse to quit. I refuse to lose. I refuse to give up. I refuse to be depressed. I refuse to let go. My wife always says, if you don't quit, you win. And it's the truest statement I've ever heard. Passion is unquenchable. Passion is unquenchable. That's the next space there. Passion is unquenchable. Creativity is essential. Creativity is essential, as in you must have it. Quitting is unthinkable. I will not quit. I will not even consider quitting. Commitment is unquestionable, and victory is inevitable. Victory is inevitable because leadership is responsible. You know what you're doing. You're knowing how you're going to get there. It's unacceptable to lose. You have that in the back of your mind and in the front of your mind. Your passion is unquenchable. You will not let people, you will not let circumstances keep you from getting to your victory. Your passion is unquenchable. Creativity is essential in order to figure out how to navigate, how to get to this place or to that place. Even in the moment where you're supposed to be going left and you decide that you need to go right in order to get to that victory. Creativity is essential because quitting is unthinkable. You can't have quitting in the front of your mind or in the back of your mind and you're thinking sideways about, hey, if this doesn't work out, then I'm gonna have to do plan B. Quitting is unthinkable. I will do plan A. There is no plan B. We will have a victory, period. Commitment is unquestionable. I am completely committed to it. And as we talked about the law of the picture last week, we're saying exactly that commitment is unquestionable. So you will see the commitment in me and not have any question about whether I am committed as the leader. Therefore, you will understand it's unquestionable. Leaders have to be unquestionable in their commitment to the victory. Victory then is inevitable. All right. Felt my help come on. All right, so let's look at the next one, which is a great one. I love this word. It's the law of the big Mo. Momentum. The law of momentum or the big Mo. That is actually what the two blanks are for on law number 16. The law of momentum or the big Mo. You can't steer a ship that isn't moving forward. You can't steer a ship that's not moving forward. You get that? It takes a leader to create forward motion. It takes a leader to create forward motion. All right? So, learning the law of momentum. I love momentum. I love the science behind it, and I love it as a thought spiritually. And so let's look at this. Momentum is a leader's best friend. Number one, momentum is the great exaggerator. Momentum is the great exaggerator. Momentum is the great exaggerator. That's the blank. Number two, momentum makes the leader look better than they are. It makes the leader look better than they are. That's part of that great exaggeration. Under that, it says young leaders often get less credit than they deserve because they have little or no momentum. We're going to talk about this in a moment. Number two, under number two, Roman numerals 2. Once a leader, let me get this right here. Once a leader creates success and develops career momentum, then people give him more credit than he deserves. So momentum looks like this. There's many pictures I see of momentum, but you can be in a church, and I've been in a church where the pastor looked a lot better than, and the service felt a lot better than really what it was, because there was good momentum going into the service. There was good worship. And so it's kind of like somebody opening up and creating that momentum, and then that guy, that woman gets up there and they preach and they do their thing, and they're going off of the momentum of the worship team. All right? It's getting in a conference, another example. And getting in a conference, and you start at zero most times. So then what you want to do is prepare and get some momentum going toward that conference, going toward it. And so what you do is begin to advertise, begin to market that conference, begin to get online and on the internet, and begin to talk about that thing going on. You get some people to begin to talk about it, to create some momentum, get forward motion going. As you get that forward motion going and you get to the date of that conference, people are excited, having expectation. They walk into there, and the momentum and the spirit is already there. And then you're able to almost do a few different things that aren't as great as they're really not that great, but the momentum makes it look greater than what it is. It is the great exaggerator. Having good momentum will make what's already moving and you touching it seem like you really did something, when in actuality it was moving already. And so your touch didn't do anything to it. But you can stop momentum. You can hinder momentum, right? Let's keep looking at that. So living the law of momentum, one word that can help you: enjoy the fruit of your labor to build momentum without letting it destroy you, is gratitude. Being grateful for momentum, being grateful for what you have in your life, being grateful for the people that are around you. Gratitude. Many times, especially today, we forsake gratitude. We forsake being grateful. We forsake being thankful for the things that we have. And many times we only look at what we don't have and what we wish we had and what God said we should have. And we're not grateful for what we have right now. And so gratefulness will help you so that you aren't destroyed early. So number 3, because we were looking at the law, living the law. Even average people can perform better than they are when momentum is going. Even average people can perform better than they are during momentum. The next one, the initial work is the toughest, is the blank. Initial work is the toughest for the least results. The initial work is the toughest for the least results. Let's look at that. Number 1, you have to know it, you have to understand it, and then you have to protect every bit of momentum that you build. You have to know that you have momentum, be acquainted with it. You have to understand it, understand how that momentum began, and then you have to protect every bit of that momentum that you build so that it doesn't slow down. It doesn't slow down. All right, so we're talking about momentum is the great exaggerator. It's the first thing that we said. Momentum makes the leader look better than they are. And that young leaders, we haven't talked about this, but we need to. Young leaders often get less credit than they deserve because they have little or no momentum. I'm going to use this and talk about that just as an example with music. So if I release a CD and somebody else releases a CD, if you don't have any momentum, which is that people don't know who you are, they're not familiar with what you're doing and what you've done, then there's no momentum. And so you have to create some momentum. You have to create a buzz, some people say. That's momentum. So then we create that momentum. And then if there's a history behind that particular artist, it's a little bit easier to get things moving again. When there is no history, because we're talking about a young person, a young artist, a young leader, then we're starting from scratch on trying to get that ball rolling, right? And creating that buzz. We can still create the buzz, but getting that thing to roll is a little bit more difficult. And so sometimes the person that is really good and that is really great, people don't listen to them because they haven't acquired the same momentum. If you look on Facebook today, social media, the people that have the momentum are the ones that other people are sharing what they're saying. When people are sharing what they're saying, it's because they have momentum. So I look at some of the things that great guy, Pastor Stephen Furtick, will say. He'll say some things, and good, bad, or indifferent, clever, intelligent, put some things together, and those things will go further than if you said them. So then you say the same thing, and you won't get any shares, right? But if he says it, he gets 500 shares, right? Because he has momentum behind him. And that's the difference. So we want to we want to understand that momentum can make you look better than what you are. You could be saying the same things as somebody else, but because you got the momentum, man, people are like, hey, I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you have to sing. Even though you're singing the same song as somebody else, because there's momentum. At this point in time, Lauren Daigle is out there, and her momentum has started. And so there's a lot of good things going on, and she's been on some particular mainstream TV, and she's been on there singing, creating this momentum. So then the thing that would stop momentum, I'm going to talk about it, is when they ask a question like, so what do you think about sexual preferences and things like that? Those are momentum stoppers. So if she answers it incorrectly, if she answers it with offense to those that are approving of certain gender identities and and choices, if she answers against that thought and that secularized thought, if she answers against that secularized thought, then her momentum will stop immediately. Okay, so if you look at a person like Kim Burrell was with Pharrell, and she and he were doing a movie together, and they did some songs together in that movie, and then they had an opportunity to do the songs on the Ellen Show. But then Kim Burrell said something against the secular view of gender identity. When that happened, her momentum was stopped, right? So we're just talking about momentum, and we're talking about when you can stop your momentum, and when people will look at you as a younger leader or as an elder leader, and what you will do and what you will find happens. If you say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, you can hinder your momentum. All right. Momentum, number 4, page 2. Momentum is easier to steer than to start. Momentum is easier to steer than it is to start. Science says that it's easier to move an object that is already in motion. It's easier to move an object already in motion than it is to actually start that thing rolling. Momentum is the same way. It's easier to steer momentum than to start it. Momentum is a powerful change agent. Number 5, change agent. Momentum is a powerful change agent. I love momentum. You gotta have momentum in your life. I always think to myself that I want to make decisions when I have momentum behind it. I don't want to make big decisions when there's no momentum for it. If you find that deals are coming through, things are happening, then you want to move and with the big mo at that time and keep moving. And if certain things are happening and the job is good, this is good, that is good, and you're thinking, I want to buy a house or I want this, then boom, the big mo is already there because of the other things in your life that are going well. So then you want to move with that. But at the same time, you can have good momentum and you can have bad momentum. So if things aren't moving like they should in your life and you try to do something else, you try to do something to get things moving and you try to get that house, but the finances haven't been looking great for a while, or relationships haven't been looking great for a while, just the car hasn't been looking great for a while, just the things that we deal with, and you've had issues, sometimes issues can keep momentum from happening in our lives, and we then have momentum on a bad sense that it's rolling, but it's all these other issues that are rolling. I'm doing this. So it's all these other issues that are rolling instead of good things. We've got these craziness issues going on in our life. So good momentum and bad momentum, we have to be aware of it when we talk about making change or steering that thing. Momentum is a powerful change agent. It is imperative that we understand how best to help our clients, those people that we service, change. When we are winning, nothing hurts. The word is change and change in number 5. Both of those blanks are change. When we are winning, nothing hurts. If you look at people that play football, they will get back out on that field after getting a concussion. They will get back out on that field after a broken finger. They'll say, like, tape it to the one that's not broken. Craziness, because you're so hyped up. You're in the momentum. The team is winning. You don't want to leave the field. And you're like, do everything you can, doc, to fix me up, to get me in the game. Nothing hurts. Of course, till later, when there's no momentum, the thrill is gone, and now you have to deal with the injuries. So when you are winning, nothing hurts, nothing hinders. You're moving forward. You got this. Number 6, momentum is the leader's responsibility. It is the leader's responsibility to keep momentum, to keep momentum going. Good momentum. Number 1 under number 6 is that it takes a leader to create momentum. It doesn't just happen. Okay, it doesn't just happen. Sometimes you can happen upon it, though. I know John says it doesn't just happen, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I've seen it in 2 ways. One is that we purposefully do something to create that momentum, like we were talking about earlier, a conference or some other thing, and then other times it's like it doesn't just happen, but it happens, and you have to know that momentum. This is a moment of momentum, and we need to capitalize on it. Okay, so if a team is winning and they win one game, that doesn't mean that they have momentum, right? But now that they've won 3 games in a row, you start thinking there's some momentum here, and it just happened. But it happened because of their practices and what they did in the practices. But it wasn't as purposeful that the momentum started. But it never just happens. So many times we are looking at our situations, looking at our lives, looking at the way that we lead, looking at circumstances around us, and we have to decide what can we do to create momentum and put some thought, intentional thought, focus and purpose toward that, so that we can have better instead of worse. Things can get worse, and that is momentum. A word of momentum to say for things just continually get worse, or things continually get better. So better is a momentum in a good way. Worse is momentum in a bad way, which is it continually gets worse. We have to stop when things are continually getting worse, and we have to keep going toward when things are continually getting better. If you have a success, you want to capitalize on that success so that you can get another one. It's not big successes that you need to have. It's just the first game. Just the first game. It's not winning by a long shot. It's just winning. Whether it's winning by 1 point, it's just the fact that you won. It's the fact that you're still here. It's the fact that you get up in the morning. It's the fact that you're able to get out the door. It's the fact that you're able to get where somebody else wasn't able, thought that they could be able to get to, and you're able to do that. And you begin to capitalize on the small things, so then the small things turn into greater things. Once we're able to recognize that we have small, little, rolling momentum going forth in our life, then it can turn into big momentum. All right? Momentum begins inside the leader. Let me look at number 6. If number 2 says, if you can't make the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can't make the heat, get out of the kitchen. Many times we say, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. A leader is able to make the heat. You're able to make that thing go. Number 7, momentum begins inside the leader. Inside the leader. I was talking to the Lord this particular past week, and one of the things we were talking about was internal conflict and external conflict. Many times we deal with our external conflict, the waves hitting, the ship, telling us we're about to lose our life. We've got all kinds of situations, circumstances, and things going on externally around us. People, places, things, all of that. And then we have internal conflict, which deals with our thought life. And it also deals with when the enemy tries to come in and make you think about yourself a certain way, make you look at your past, maybe make you look at your present, maybe make you think that you won't have a future. It begins to look at your thought life, and that internal conflict can hinder your momentum. Momentum begins on the inside of every leader. Just as creativity begins on the inside of every creative person, just as vision starts on the inside of the visionary, momentum starts on the inside of the leader. And once it is on the inside and has built, then it is released from that leader. All right, leading others to the law of momentum. The last 3 things John says is a mindset awareness, environment, culture, everyday preparedness. You can't be an overnight success after. You can be an overnight success after 20 years of hard work. After 20 years of hard work, you can be an overnight success. We look at people and we wonder how it is that they're successful, how it is that they're doing what they're doing. What can I do? And we try to copy and we try to be like, but we don't know that they've got 20 years of digging down deep first before they actually cropped up above the ground. A mindset and awareness. When we're talking about leading others, we have to have a mindset and awareness of momentum, looking for the momentum so we can capitalize on it. Our environment, our culture helps us to create good momentum as well as bad momentum. So we have to be conscious of who we are around, the people, the culture, the things that are going on in our environment around us that will hinder or that will push our momentum forward, our good momentum. Everyday preparedness, which is just saying that we are always looking every day and prepared to keep that momentum going. Not taking for granted that momentum will be there, but planning, purposefully planning to keep that thing going, to keep it going, not to allow it to slow down because we didn't do anything that day. If you work for yourself, if you work for somebody else, there's the difference is you have to be motivated in order to work for yourself. And if you work for somebody else, they are motivating you to get up there and do what you're supposed to do. And so momentum says to the entrepreneur, I am going to keep this thing going because not only is it making me money, it's helping me to increase in other ways as well, right? And so instead of increasing someone else's thing, you're increasing your own thing. Momentum is great. Momentum in a family is great. Momentum in a person is great. In just your own life, momentum in your ministry is great. Whatever you are involved in, your relationships have momentum, right? You can have your car break down, and then all of a sudden you're like, my car has broken down 3 and 4 times in the last month. That's momentum. You got to stop that momentum and do whatever is necessary to achieve victory, like we talked about earlier. And so victory after victory after victory helps momentum to be established, right? So that's what you want. That's a good thing. It's not just in corporate, but it's also in the family. It's also in the individual. If momentum starts inside me, then you do the necessary things so that your family feels that momentum. Things will try to come along and will try to, knock you this way, knock you that way from each side in order to hinder the momentum, because forward motion will get you to your destination. And that's why we need momentum to get us to our destination. Right. Hey, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see everybody Thursday for another session. All right. Peace.